It's just coming on 6 o'clock. Dr. Hall, we have 77 people in the room with us tonight.
Fantastic. So we have the other members of our team are on. Joy, I can only see 4 people. So we have Jeff and Shanae as well.
I don't see Shanae. She might be here. She might have snuck in.
I'm here. I saw Shanae's name pop up.
Very good. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started at 6:01. What's nice about the Zoom meetings, the upside is that we don't have to worry about people dealing with traffic issues or bad roads or commuting, childcare, any of those such items. So it's nice to be able to start promptly on time and respect everyone that we have. Looks like I see down below we have 80 participants tonight. So that's a large number. We appreciate everyone joining us tonight. The meeting is recorded. So if you have questions, we're going to send it out to the high school afterwards as well, so they can review the information. And we have our contact information at the end we'll provide as well. So if you have questions, our presentation takes about 20 minutes. And then we have time at the end to answer any of your questions. There's a chat button at the bottom of the Zoom. So if you type in questions, we're going to go through those at the end as well. You can see at the top, it says Clarkston's dual enrollment opportunities. That not only includes Clarkston, but it also includes Brandon High School, Lake Orion, and Holly as well. The location for these classes are at Clarkston High School. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce some members of our team. Why don't we start with the members from the University of Michigan Flint team. I'm Jeff Hall. I'm the director of the K-12 Partnership Program. And again, I appreciate you joining us tonight.
I'm Jeff Schul. I'm the program manager for K-12 Partnerships.
I'm Joy Murray, and I work in administrative, I'm the administrative specialist.
Shanae Dawson, administrative specialist.
I'm John Amboy. I'm one of the admissions counselors in the Office of Undergraduate Admissions.
And I believe we have some local school officials as well. If there's anyone out there from the high schools that I mentioned, if you'd like to introduce yourselves, I'd appreciate it. Okay. Well, I know they're out there, so maybe they're being shy at this point. They can chime in later, and maybe they'll come in regards to the chat later on. But again, thank you for joining us. We're going to go through some opportunities. We're going to go through some opportunities for students to earn college credit while they're still in high school. These are the current partners that we have. This may be a new program to some of you, but just to make you aware, this is not a new program in general. We started back in 2009. We had 15 students, and we started Lapeer High School. We've grown. You can see all the different participants down there. We have about 26 partners now, partner districts. We have about 650 students yearly to a part of this program. So it's a widely known program amongst the universities, the public universities within the area. So it's a known commodity. So what is a dual enrolled student? A dual enrolled student is a University of Michigan Flint college student that happens to be in high school. So what do I mean by that? Well, these are the same courses that we normally teach on our campus. What's unique about this program is that we send our college instructors out to the high school. In this case, we send them to Clarkston, but they're the same courses, the same pacing, the same rigor, the same courses that you would take if you were a traditional college student coming to our campus. The difference here is we send them out to your high school and they occur during your school day. So I mentioned it's a successful program. I'm going to go through some of the benefits that are associated with the program and why it's been so successful. One of the main reasons that you're earning college credit while attending, and we're going to go through all the different programs and some of the transferability with these college credits as well. You're exposed to the same rigor and pacing of college coursework. So this prepares you for what college is going to be like. There's no better way to prepare for college than to take a college course. You still have all the support that you would have at your high school with your classmates, being with your family, being at home, your fellow classmates as well, but it exposes you to the same rigor and pacing of college courses, which really helps you ease the transition from high school to college. There's some significant financial incentives for taking these classes. While you're taking them in high school, part of your foundation allowance or part of the money that's generated by you attending high school goes towards your college cost. So it reduces the out-of-pocket burden for families. So you're getting college credit for really pennies on the dollar. Also, if you're looking to apply to a very competitive university and you have college credits, that's one more opportunity. It provides an opportunity for students that are applying to these very competitive universities to show that they can be successful in a very rigorous environment. So we have a couple different options for students today, and we're going to go through all the different programs and options. But we have early college option. So the early college are for students that they start in their 11th grade year, must start their junior year. They participate both in their junior and senior year. So what you would take is 6 credits in the fall, 6 in the winter of your junior year. You do the same thing, 6 credits in the fall, 6 credits in the winter of your senior year. So after your senior year, what's different about an early college is you take a 13th year, then you come on campus are receiving the tuition assistance from your high school. So you graduate from high school after your 13th year with up to 30 credits, and you paid a minimal amount for these 50 credits. You still participate in all your senior activities in your 12th grade year, but you don't have to come on campus at your high school campus during your 13th year. And you have options to opt out during your 13th year during the fall of your 12th grade year. So if you go through the program during your 11th grade year, your 12th grade year, and you decide, I don't want to do a 13th year, you can still opt out as long as you do it in the fall of your 12th grade year. So the other option is what's called the DEEP option, and that's the dual enrollment educational partnership. You can take this is more of like a traditional dual enrollment piece. You can do that either your junior year, you can do it your senior year, you can do it your junior and senior year. So seniors just obviously would participate just for their senior year. Juniors, you can do it for your junior and senior year. So you'd walk away with 24 credits after your senior year that would transfer to a university. But the difference is after your 12th grade year, you're done, you graduate like a traditional senior, and then you matriculate to wherever you go to college at that point. So I'm going to turn it over to Shanae. We're going to have her talk about some of the specifics regarding the college courses and how that works with the breakdown as far as the commitment for the 13th year. Shanae?
So the early college program is for juniors only. Students must apply to this program during their sophomore year, and they are making a 3-year commitment to the university and to the early college. So this includes the 13th year. So what that will look like is students will have their first and second years at Clarkston. The first year they will register for 4 classes in addition to their high school classes. The second year will be the same thing. Still at Clarkston High School, they will have their high school classes and additionally 4 college classes. Year 3 will be at the university on the college campus. So students would then enroll in classes that count towards their major. They will still have to, they could possibly take a high school class, which will be a math related course. And that will be a class that they register for at the university, but that does still count towards their high school graduation requirement, which allows them to still get the tuition discounts and incentives and everything that comes with being a early college DEEP student. So when students apply to either program, that includes the early college or the DEEP program, they do get access to student services and they are admitted to the university. So with that, they get access to all the same benefits and resources as any other student. So students will have access to the rec center. They could come on down to the rec and use the rec center. They get access to the university library system that includes Ann Arbor, Flint, and Dearborn campuses as well as all the online resources that are available to students. They also get access to the Marion E. Wright Writing Center that's on campus, and they can also access the Writing Center electronically and do appointments online with the Writing Center, as well as academic advising. Myself and Jeff Schul, we take care of the advising for the DEEP and early college students. So that includes helping you look at classes for your career, especially in that 13th year. The academic advising will be really important to those 13th year students, as you're not taking those package courses, but the 13th year is where you really take those classes that you're interested in that count towards your major and your degree programs. So again, academic advising will be really important in that 13th year, as well as many other Flint activities, clubs, and events that are offered to any other student on campus. The DEEP and early college students have access to that as well. And their students will also be able to receive an M card like you see here on the screen. Students will have that same M card that anybody else on campus gets when they're admitted to the program. So for the academic calendar, and again, this includes the early college and deep students, we will follow the Flint academic calendar. So what that means is there may be days where the high school is not in session, but you will still have your college classes, and vice versa. There may be days where the college doesn't have class, but there's still high school classes. The one exception is we will honor the high school spring break, so we will not bother with that. So that means students are possibly going to get 2 spring breaks, because typically the college spring break and the high school spring break falls on 2 different weeks. So students will get their high school spring break no matter what, but they could possibly get that Flint spring break as well. And that usually depends on snow days. If there's a lot of snow days during the semester, then some professors may decide to teach through their Flint spring break and just keep that high school spring break. In regards to snow days, if Clarkston is closed for snow days, then there won't be any deep classes. Or if the university or early college classes, if the university closed due to snow days, and there won't be any deeper early college classes as well. Student safety is a priority, so we just want to make sure students are safe, and we do acknowledge those snow days. And again, it is if Clarkston classes are canceled, because that's where the classes are held. Say if maybe Brandon or Holly closes and students aren't able to make it, then we would just, ask that students email their professor and things like that and let them know they wouldn't be in attendance. Classes are held in the afternoon. So I believe it would take place of 5th and 6th hours, just depending on how your schedule runs, but classes are held in the afternoon at Clarkston High School from 12:30 to 1:45. Then we'll get into the specifics of the schedule. Okay, so a sample schedule. So the sample schedule will look the same no matter which program you're in, the early college or deep. The only thing that would change would be the courses that you're enrolled in. So as I mentioned a little bit ago, students take 4 courses over the year. So in the fall, students will be registering for 2 classes, and that would be a Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday track. So those classes would be between 12:30 to 1:45. So they would have their first class Monday, Wednesday, second class Tuesday, Thursday. On Fridays, that time is set aside for tutoring and study sessions. And then in the winter, the students would enroll in 2 new classes, and it will follow that same Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday track with tutor session set aside on Fridays. Unless you're registering for the biology program, then students will have their bio lab on Fridays, but we will get into that in a little bit. And now I'm going to turn it over to Jeff Schul for the course options.
Thank you, Shanae. So I'm going to talk to you about what options you have as far as the programs go. We have a few different options for you to choose from. Whether you're going to be a junior or a senior, you can do any of these programs. You can do one your junior year, and then you would choose a different program for your senior year. Again, when you're looking at these programs, they are a complete package. So you would do, we have it set up here where the first 2 are the courses you would take in the fall, and the second 2 are the courses that you take in the winter. You don't pick and choose courses from one program or the other. This is each individual package. So the first one we have here is our liberal arts program. This program is designed to be applicable to students looking into any major or any career type, because it's going to cover different general education requirements for you, regardless of what you plan to do. So if you're going to be an engineer, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a teacher, you're going to be a nurse, you're going to get your general education, a few of your general education requirements complete by doing this. So this program here has COM 200, which is Intro to Human Communication, History 114, 20th Century World History, followed by COM 210, Intro to Public Speaking, and then AFA 101, Intro to Africana Studies. In the red circle there, you'll see the value of the program. That's what this program would cost if you were to take it at Flint as a traditional student, not through the early college or dual enrollment program. And we'll get to what your cost will be, which is significantly less than that here in just a minute. So the second program that we have as an option is an English Humanities program. Again, very similar to the other program, designed to be applicable to students looking to go into any program or any major. This one's going to take care of your English and your writing requirements. Every institution you look at, you're going to have some sort of basic writing, college level writing requirement, and this is going to fulfill that for you. So the first we have is English 111, our college rhetoric. Then we have Intro to Philosophy, English 112, a critical writing and reading, followed by Anthropology 100, Intro to Cultural Anthropology. The next program we have is our medical science program. So this one is a little bit more specialized than the other two. This is really designed for students looking to go into medicine. More specifically, pre-med is probably the best fit for it, but it can be applicable to students looking at other areas of medicine like physical therapy, physician's assistant, things like that. The requirements here, we have health science applications. That is a really cool course that goes over kind of what your options might be in the health field. So you're going to learn, what would you be doing as a doctor, but also who else do you work with? So what are the other areas and other kind of careers within medicine that you're going to interact with, through that process. And maybe one of those are more appealing to you. And a lot of students kind of learn that through this course. We'll have our Principles of Biology, which is a freshman level biology course. Then in the winter, we have Intro to Logic. And then we have a 300 level genetics course. That is a more advanced level course that the Principles of Biology is a prerequisite to. So it's really giving students, one, a great experience within biology and requirements, what it takes to complete college level biology classes, but also most students take that genetics as a sophomore, maybe even some as a junior, and you're getting that taken care of and out of the way while still in high school. Now, the last program that we have is not final, but we're excited to kind of be able to start talking about this because it's more than likely it's happening. Our plan is to start fall 21. We have a pre-engineering program that we've been working on that we're building. We were hoping to have it finalized by today, but we still have a couple of questions that we need to get answered. So the specific courses and the location are being finalized because this program, while everything else is being offered at Clarkston High School, we're hoping to offer this program at Lake Orion High School. Students from Clarkston, Holly, and Brandon still are eligible to go to Lake Orion and take this, just like they're eligible to take the courses at Clarkston. If we are able to actually hold it at Lake Orion, then that's what we would do. Again, we're trying to finalize some of those details. So we're going to send out more information soon. So if you are interested in that, I would encourage that you let your high school counselors know so that once we get that information out, we can share that with everybody, and we'll probably have another presentation to go over some of the specifics of that program and what those courses look like. But so if you're interested, please stay tuned. We will send out more information as soon as we have it. So what I want to talk about next is the cost of these programs. As you saw before, the programs range anywhere from about $6,400 to $7,000 if you were to take them at U of M Flint as a traditional student. This here shows you what your estimated cost would be out of pocket. So if you're looking at the liberal arts or the English humanities, it's right around $1,900. If you're looking at the medical science, that is an extra credit. The liberal arts and English are 12 credit programs. The medical science is a 13 credit program. So because of that, and the biology brings some additional fees with it, that program is about $2,500. You do have to purchase textbooks beyond that. We recommend or kind of estimate an average of about $100 per textbook. So about $400 for the year. Again, that's on the high end. So if you are buying them brand new, that's what you might expect to pay. But if you rent textbooks, which is a much more economical option, you can usually get it much, much cheaper than that $400. This is, for each of these programs, this is what you would pay, again, for the full year. You won't pay that in one big lump sum. You'll pay half for fall and the other half for winter. And how we handle the billing is we actually bill directly to your high schools, and then your high schools will bill you the difference. The reason we're able to offer these programs at such a discounted rate is, one, we discount our tuition a little bit for our dual enrolled, about $100 per credit hour for our dual enrolled students. We waive a couple of fees, but then your high school pays a large portion out of their foundation allowance that comes from the state. So they take a portion that they receive and they apply it here, and then you're left with what the difference is after what they're able to provide. And so that's what the numbers are that you're seeing here. Again, you would pay about half in the fall, half in the winter. We typically send those bills about a month into the semester, so in October or in February, and then shortly thereafter, you'll get bills from your high school. If you have specific questions about that billing process, I would encourage that you talk to your high school counselors about how that works, because each district does it a little bit differently. Some of our districts have, a down payment you have to do. Some, spread it out in payment plans. But just talk to your local district about exactly how they do those costs. Now, if you are looking to do the early college and you're going to do all 3 years, so again, choosing one of those programs your junior year, a different one your senior year, and then that 13th year where you're taking 12 credits a semester instead of 6 credits a semester, you're taking 12 at U of M Flint. If you were to take, again, those up to 50 credits at U of M Flint as a traditional student, that would cost you almost $26,000. But through this program, your out-of-pocket cost estimated would be about $6,500. So a huge, huge savings. Still a lot of money, absolutely, spread out over those 3 years. But a huge savings for students by participating in this and then having 50 college credits complete. To earn a bachelor's degree, you need a minimum of 120. So after completing this program, you will be, almost halfway complete with that bachelor's degree program. So next steps. So if you are interested in participating in the program, what you first need to do is fill out an application. When we mailed home the letters, I'm not sure if some of the districts handled the marketing themselves, but if you received a letter from us at home, it included an application. If you did not, we have applications available on our website. You can see at the bottom of the screen here, umflint.edu/K12. There's an application available there. You can actually fill it out all online. You do have to print it and sign it though. And then you will take that signed copy and turn it into your high school counselors. Our application deadline is Tuesday, February 23rd. So you're going to take that completed application and you're going to turn it into your high school counselor by the 23rd. We will then collect all of the applications from your counselors along with a copy of your high school transcript. And we will then process those in our office. It takes about 4 to 6 weeks from when you from that application deadline before you'll hear officially whether or not you've been accepted to the program. When you're looking at that application, there's a couple of things that are really important on the application. The first is your birth date. You're going to use that birth date to create your password. It'll be one of the questions that's asked to verify your identity before you create a password. So making sure that that's accurate and more importantly, legible, so that we can put that into our system correctly. And with that legibility, your email address as well. What'll happen is when you're admitted, the first step is you will receive an email to whatever email it is you put on your application, and that will get the ball rolling on creating your password, creating your account, and getting all of those first steps to registration. So it's very important that that email address is accurate and legible, because if you don't get that email, that original email, your process can get delayed, quite heavily, and we don't want you to, potentially miss out on being able to do the program because of that. We ask what program that you want to do, so that'll be important that you indicate which program. We do have limited seats in each of these programs. It's around 25 for each program. So if we come to a situation where 30 students want the liberal arts program and only 20 want the humanities, we're going to ask 5 of those liberal arts students, do you want to switch over to the humanities program? And so by having your accurate program on your application will help us determine who wants to be in what program. We also ask a question on the back about your residency. Are you a resident of the state of Michigan? Yes or no? But what's important on that is we need to know how long have you been a resident of the state of Michigan. If you've been a resident your entire life, you can just put since birth. But if you've moved in the last few years, we need to know that. That will not impact your ability to participate in this program. We do not have different rates for in-state or out-of-state students. However, that could potentially impact your residency status in the future with U of M, whether that's at U of M Flint, but also Dearborn and Ann Arbor. And so if you are considered an out-of-state, we have some processes that we can go through to help you be considered an in-state student. So that way we can, so it doesn't affect you again in the future. You'll take that application again, like I said, when you'll print it, there are 2 signatures required, one for the student and then one for a parent or guardian. And then again, like I said, you'll turn that into your high school counselor by February 23rd. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand it over to John, who's going to talk to you a little bit about some of the merit scholarship options for after you graduate from high school and if you look to come to U of M Flint.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, good evening, everyone. So like Jeff just said, this is all about after the DEEP program or after the early college program. So if you're choosing to come to U of M Flint, and the big thing I want to say is just that you are considered a first-time college student. So you will be eligible for those first-year merit scholarships that we offer at U of M Flint and many other institutions. We have options on our campus, both test optional and that require a test score, ranging all the way from $2,000 up to a full tuition scholarship. I'm going to throw the link in the chat, but yeah, that's basically all I've got for you tonight, just to know that. If you have any admissions related questions, feel free to private message me in the chat. I'm happy to help. Thank you.
Thank you, John. So what we're going to do now is we want to open it up. If anybody has any questions, it looks like, Joy, do you want to go through those and kind of, looks like there's quite a few there in the chat already. So if you have any more questions, just add them to the chat and we'll go through them one by one and answer them as best we can for you.
Very good, thank you. The first question from Ty, looks like we've already answered quite a few, but he does have a question number 3. If I were to move out west, would I be able to keep my credit, which is a basic transferability of credit. So Jeff Schul, do you want to address that?
Sure, yeah, it's a great question about transferability. These courses are highly transferable, specifically to the public institutions in the state of Michigan, and the liberal arts and humanities transfer really, really well. The medical science transfers well as well, but it can be a little bit trickier with some of the biology classes. It just depends on the institution that you're looking at. Private institutions can sometimes be a little bit harder. And then if you are looking like to go out west, the further away you get from the state of Michigan, it's not that the courses aren't going to transfer, it's that we might not know as well ahead of time. How institutions build their transfer guides is based on previous students that have transferred there before. So the farther you get away from U of M Flint, the less likely you're going to have students that have transferred to that institution, and also less likely that they've taken the same classes that you've taken. So what we encourage students to do is, if you know right now what institution you plan to attend in the future, reach out to them, talk to them, ask them questions, explain what you're doing, and see if they can help guide you on how those courses would transfer. If you're looking at one of the in-state schools here in Michigan, one of the public institutions, and most of the privates as well, if you go to their website and just search for transfer equivalencies, or even in Google, you could search Oakland transfer equivalencies, MSU transfer equivalencies, and be taken. Every school has a database that you'll be able to search U of M Flint and then find the courses that we're offering and how they transfer to that institution. And so you should be able to do that right now and get a better idea of exactly how these courses would transfer. Again, vast majority are going to transfer everywhere. There are a few, a handful here or there that won't transfer. But when you look at that cost, if only 2 of the courses transfer, you've still saved money, especially depending on where you want to go. If you go to an institution that's even more expensive, you saved even more money than what you're saving just through U of M Flint. Our goal is to try to get all 4 to transfer for you, but when you're looking at it, again, the more that transfer, the better. The one thing I want to add with that transferability as well is, if you look at some institutions, Ann Arbor and MSU are 2 that would look like this. If you look at their websites, they may say something about dual enrollment credits not transferring. Specifically dual enrollment credits that are offered on a high school campus, and dual enrollment credits that are offered only to high school students, which are all of our programs. Our programs, though, get an exception to that at least Ann Arbor and MSU. Albion was another one that also had that rule. Our school gets an exception. Any institution that we've run into that has that restriction, has gotten an exception for our program. And the reason for that is because the quality of our program. The instructors that teach these are the exact same instructors that are teaching these classes on campus. The expectations of the class, the rigor of the class, everything is exactly the same about these classes as it is on campus. And so because of that, our courses get that transferability. And so they get that exception.
Okay, one interesting question is there paleontology? And we know we've already looked at the courses for the DEEP program, and we see, of course, that's not one in there, but Jeff Schul, if he was to do, the student was to do the 13th year, the early college, do we have any paleontology?
I don't think we have anything specific. We have I think we have one intro to archaeology. The anthropology program would be the closest, but it is more of a cultural anthropology and not paleontology, unfortunately.
Okay, good question though, interesting. Does this program affect our status as first-time college students? And John Amvoy said, no, it doesn't. You earn college credit, but because you don't have your high school diploma yet, you are not a true freshman. So when you apply to colleges in the fall after you graduate, you take these credits with you, but you can apply as a freshman, which means you're eligible for all the freshman scholarships, which is really where the big bucks come from. Is that correct?
Correct.
You nailed it.
Can the student utilize the Michigan Educational Savings Plan for this program? Jeff,
Well, we believe so. There are a few different plans that are out there. We've had this question before, and we believe the answer is yes. Just what we ask is you just go back to your, who you have that plan through and ask that question specifically. But we believe that people have been able to use it in the past. Looks like there was also a question right before that. It came directly to me about the English Humanities. So I'm just going to back up so they can see what that English Humanities program looked like while we're answering these other questions.
Okay, and we have, can the student live on campus in the housing for the 13th year? Jeff, do you want to answer that one?
Yes, they're eligible to live on campus during their 13th year.
Okay, is there transportation provided?
Just to add a caveat to that, while you're eligible, absolutely, and we've had a few students do that, you cannot receive financial aid for that. So it can be a little bit costly out of pocket to live on campus at 13th year because you can't receive any aid to assist you with that. If that's not an issue, then that's not an issue, but just something to know moving forward then.
Okay. Is transportation provided? Unfortunately, is not. The students will have to figure that out themselves. Can the student sign up for a different track their senior year, or does it have to be the same track both junior and senior years?
Yes, students sign up. You'll sign up for one program your junior year and then a different program for your senior year, because this program, like the English Humanities that we're looking at here, would be for that entire year. You do the first two in the fall and the second two in the winter, whether that's your junior or your senior year. We do prefer with the medical science program that it's for seniors. So if you are looking to do that program, we would, as a junior, we would encourage that you do one of the other programs your junior year and then the medical science your senior year. We do leave that up to the high schools to determine. So if you are a really good fit for the medical science and you want to do it your junior year, it is still potentially an option, but we prefer seniors for that program.
Okay.
The other thing though that we didn't have on here for the medical science, it is on the flyers that we sent out. There is a couple of additional requirements for any of these programs. The main requirement is you have to have at least a 3.0 high school GPA and then basically be recommended by your high school. They'll look at things like, you have good attendance, you don't have any discipline issues, things like that. For the medical science, we do want students to have already had high school biology and high school chemistry prior to doing this program.
Will there be more details about the pre-engineering program available before the application deadline? What do we know about that?
That is the plan. It should be. If it's not, the application deadline for that program will be extended.
Okay. How do courses affect the GPA? Who would like to do?
I'll take it.
Okay.
That's a district level decision. Every district handles it slightly differently. So what I would do, this looks like it's Eric to everyone. The students that are interested in that, they need to talk with their individual high schools on how they calculate the GPA for their college credits, because it's done differently. We have 26 different partners and they all handle it slightly differently. So please check with your high school how they handle that. That's a policy issue at your high school.
Okay. Are these the only classes offered, or are there different courses for seniors? These are the only programs, and as we've said, they are package programs. You take the 4 courses that we have set out for you. We've chosen these courses carefully with your schools. The only thing that we don't know now is that pre-engineering. My son is planning to pursue nursing. Would the medical sciences program be the right one for him?
Actually, probably not. And the reason for that is that the nursing programs require anatomy and physiology and microbiology for their biology requirements, whereas the biology here that you're seeing in the medical science, the Bio 113 and the genetics are more of a pre-med track or like a physical therapy track, something like that. So if a student was looking to go to nursing, one of the other 2 programs would be a little bit of a better fit because it would fulfill some of those general education requirements, so they could then, once they started after completing the DEEP program, would be able to focus on those nursing requirements.
Okay. Will this be considered a replacement for our core courses, or will they be electives? Dr. Hall, you're still muted.
That's a district level decision. Again, some of our partners count it as part of their core. Others count it strictly as elective. So check with your local high school regarding their policy as far as how they're handling the U of M Flint credits.
Once again, these are in the school day. So you'll have to talk with your counselor about what courses they will replace. Next question is, will this presentation be available to download to review later? Yes, I am recording it and I will be sending it to each of the schools and you'll be able to get it from them. Okay, next, would you do 2 different programs if you plan on doing 2 years in the DEEP program? You can choose any 2 that you want, one for the senior year, one for the, junior year, one for the senior year. Will these credits transfer to U of M Ann Arbor? Who would like to answer that one?
I can take that. And it looks like the next one's about specifically the pre-med and transferring as well. So yes, I can't say 100% all of them. I don't remember off the top of my head which ones specifically. I'm pretty sure all of them, I'm pretty sure they all do, but again, there might be 1 or 2 here or there. For the medical science, the health science applications is the only one. That transfers to about like 50% of the schools in the state of Michigan. That is one that is probably our least transferable course. We've kept that in our program. That was one of our very first, this is one of our very first programs that we've had, this medical science program when we started in Lapeer. And that course has been in the program the entire time because students just find it so valuable. The type of information that they learn in it, regardless of it transferring, students have said that they want that course still there. And so that's why we've kept it. But that's the only one. The biology courses, they do transfer to Ann Arbor. When you're looking at them, it may say that they transfer as departmental credits, meaning that they're not transferring as a direct equivalency. But what we found is what Ann Arbor wants students to do is to go to the biology department, have a conversation with them about what you learned in the DEEP program, and then they'll give you the direct equivalent to their freshman biology courses. And that's honestly true with any of the transferability. What you're going to see on those websites, that is not set in stone. You can negotiate that with those institutions. What you want to keep is the syllabus from every single course, because that's going to be your negotiating power, where you're going to be able to take to them and show them, hey, this is exactly what I learned, in this course. And then they can tell you, yes, they're going to transfer, or no, they're not going to transfer. But oftentimes by going through those steps, students will get those courses to transfer that otherwise said they wouldn't. Really, when you're looking at anything that says departmental credit, that can be really valuable to get that to be an actual direct equivalency. And we know with Ann Arbor, they've said they want students to do that for those biology classes.
And we do meet with Ann Arbor every year to make sure that our courses do meet their standards. Here's another question. Can you quickly explain the difference between deep and early college program? Shanae, would you like to take that one?
Yes.
Let me go back to that slide. That's a helpful visual as well. If we could roll back to the slide.
Got it.
So for the main difference is for the DEEP program, this program is for if you're already a junior. You cannot do early college. You must commit to the early college in your sophomore year. It's a 13th year commitment. That means you do your junior year, your senior year, and then you do an extra 13th year as still being coded a high school student, even though you'll be taking those college classes at the university. And that's how you still get access to the tuition assistance, you still get access to academic advising, our team, as well as the high school team. You will still do your senior activities with your same class. You'll walk at commencement if you decide to walk at commencement, but it's just that 13th year that you're committing to. And if, like I say, if you're already in your junior year, you won't be able to apply to the early college. You will only be able to do the DEEP program. But if you're a sophomore, you can do the early college. And we usually code students as early college if they apply in their sophomore year. So they, just in case they may say, I just want to do the DEEP program, but you can change your mind and decide to do early college and stay for that 13th year. But if you can't go back and change from a DEEP student to an early college student. But just again, that early college means you're making a commitment for that 13th year.
And as far as what your junior and senior year look like, they're exactly the same, whether you do early college or DEEP. The courses are the same. The only difference is you've committed to doing that extra year.
This is a new one for me. Once courses are taken, how long before they are considered non-transferable?
Forever. They're always transferable. You will take these courses, they will be on your college transcript, and you can transfer them till the end of time.
Okay. Can you please recap? Are the students traveling to Flint, or is this a remote learning program?
The classes are offered at Clarkson High School. We are still deciding on the pre-engineering, correct, where that'll be
Correct.
held, but students will only come to the university in that 13th year if they're doing the early college, or they may register for online classes, but students will be taking their classes at the high school.
Which is great because our professors come out to you. What are the financial and academic consequences, as well as depending on the time of year of the course?
I don't understand the question. Daniel, if you want to follow up with that and explain, I'm not sure. Does anyone else understand that question?
No, I'm not sure, depending on the time of year. I don't know if maybe it came right after John added the admissions thing, so maybe it's related to that admissions, his link there. I'm not sure.
Daniel, if you want to add another comment on there, we'll try to answer, but I'm not sure what you're asking.
Okay. The next person says, do the courses meet the LOHS requirements for graduations? For instance, does the English course meet the requirement for English courses are required by LOHS?
That's a question for Lake Orion. I'm not 100% sure, because again, like we said, every district does it a little bit different. So definitely talk to your high school counselor. Our main contact at Lake Orion that we work with is Mrs. Everett, Rosa. And so she would be a good person to ask that question to.
Teresa says she heard it is difficult to transfer the credits. Is there help from the DEEP program to facilitate credit transfers?
Yeah, I'm not sure that I've heard that it's difficult. What you do is when you complete the program, you will request a copy of your transcripts from U of M Flint to be sent to that, whatever that institution is that you're going to. And we absolutely can help with that process. If you are getting, denied the transferability, again, we can, kind of help direct that for you, especially if an institution tells you, no, these courses don't transfer because you took them in a dual enrollment program. We absolutely can step in. Again, anytime we face that with Ann Arbor, MSU, or Albion in the past, we've been able to work that out, and then students don't have to face that again in the future. But yes, we can help.
Okay. Adriana says, I was going to graduate next year as a junior. Would I still be able to do the junior program or do the DEEP program as a junior? Yes, you may. If the program ends at 1:45, what do I do for the last 45 days of school? Anything you
45
want.
minutes. Yeah.
Study. We're going to say study, but
Homework.
if my student
Homework.
wants to take deep classes only his senior year, is his deadline still February 23rd of this year? Or will it be offered next year to sign up for?
You would sign up next year. If you're currently a sophomore and you want to do the program only in your senior year, you would then sign up during your junior year. So you would wait till this time next year to sign up.
Okay. If my application was for medical sciences as a junior and I want to change it to English, how do I change that now that I've already submitted it? You just let us know, or your counselor know, and we can change it. It's not a problem at all.
Yep.
Do we have to
Let your
choose?
counselor know.
Let your counselors know, yeah. Do we have to choose one of the package programs for a 13th year? No, and Jeff Schul, would you like to go over that?
Yeah, so actually I meet with all of the students prior to their 13th year to discuss the courses and make recommendations. Every student will have a different set of courses that they're taking that 13th year, because we base those courses on what a student wants to major in, what career field they want to go into, and then also we try to look at, if you know where you're going to college, if it's not U of M Flint, we look at, are those courses going to transfer as well? So we're making sure to package that 13th year as individually for each student so they can get the most out of the program.
And for the nursing program, once again, would it make sense to do liberal arts in junior and English humanities in the senior year? Jeff Schul?
Absolutely, yes. And then the 13th year, if they were going to do that, we'd then start some of those anatomy and physiology, some of those other nursing specific classes. Yes.
Okay. Who is the contact from Clarkston that can answer questions about that high school specifically?
Justin Fitteneville is
Okay.
the main contact, or really any of the counselors. They're all familiar with the program, but our main contact is Justin.
Okay. Can we please go back to the slide with the description of the DEEP program? Thank you. Depending on the time. Okay, so Daniel's following up on the question we had earlier. Thank you, Daniel. Stated in the material that we have, it says, depending on the time of the year a student decides to drop a course. Oh, and then it's dropped up. Okay. There will be a different potential consequences, both academically and financially. What are they, and what are the timeframes of dropping?
So I can answer that as well. So if a student drops these courses before the first day of the semester, there are no consequences. They will not be charged. Once classes begin, there are 10 business days into the semester that students have, where again, if they drop all of their courses, they are only charged a $100 disenrollment fee, and then there's no there will be no record that they took those classes. Whatever they are in after their 10th day of the semester, students will be charged financially for the courses. And if you were to drop, your district more than likely will have you also pay the portion that they covered from.
Oh, I think he froze or everyone froze. Oh, we're frozen. What do I do? I don't know, but it's frozen now. Oh shit, it is true. Oh my gosh.
Award any associate degrees through U of M Flint. An associate's degree is typically around 60 credits, and that's what you would receive at a community college. But again, you would have up to 50 credits complete, and this entire time you would be working towards that bachelor's degree. So from your junior year, you'd be working towards that bachelor's degree and be completing those requirements. And then if you completed 50, you would have 70 credits left to finish that bachelor's degree. Okay, it looks like those are all the questions that we have on the chat.
Just a reminder, we do have our contact information. So if you think of questions later on, if you want to email any of us, we'll get back with you with the answers. The ones that are specific to your high school please work back with your contacts at your high school. Most of the time, either your counselor or your principal or assistant principal will be able to help you. So if you have questions in regards to the GPA question and also whether it's elective or core, that's district specific, and you can check with your counselors on that information as well. But if you have U of M Flint questions regarding college or understanding the program or anything that we covered tonight, feel free to email us and we will follow up.
Yeah, the email at the bottom of the page here, the flint.k12@umich, will go to all 4 of us in the office. And so the appropriate person will get a hold of you. It looks like someone's asking for that contact at Clarkston. It's Mr. Fitteneville. He's one of the counselors, Justin. But any of the counselors at Clarkston are familiar with the program and should be able to answer your questions.
And I'll also say the principal has been very helpful as well.
Yes,
He's very
good
familiar with
call.
the program. He usually comes into the presentations when we hold them at Clarkston High School as well. And he's
Yeah,
been a great
his
asset.
daughter had her first basketball game today, so he was
Yeah, he's been great. So he
dad
has
duty.
information as well.
And again, this presentation has been recorded and we will send it out to the high school so you guys can follow up with the high school if you want to review it again, or if there's something that we touched on that you may want to go back to.
Again, thanks everybody for coming out. We appreciate it. If you do have any of those questions, please let us know. Thank you.
All right, thank you.